And I believe we're live. What's up, everyone? It's Nicholas Wildstar, Libertarian candidate for California governor. If you haven't heard yet, I am. And I'm here with the cameraman who's over there right now. I don't know if you can see him, but he's doing the First Amendment audit of the California Highway Patrol here in Sacramento. I just wanted to chime in and say hi and speak with you guys a little bit about what's going on. I actually came up here in hopes to meet with Stevante Clark, who is the brother of Stephon Clark, who died at the hands of Sacramento Police Department about a month ago. And unfortunately, Stevante was arrested about 2 days ago for some unfortunate charges, because they're really based on a lot of emotions that he was going through at the time and having to deal with the loss of his brother, his second brother, and being such a young age and being in the neighborhood and environment that you're in, it's hard to deal with struggling. And when you're frowned upon and when you're one of those people that are still trying to make it in life, is very difficult. So when we as a community talk about addressing the issues of people of color in our neighborhoods and our inner cities, for someone such as that to not have been approached in a better way, to where the state officials would have been more embracing to want to help him and provide more comfort and condolences to him and some relief to his situation, instead of him being taken out of the environment that he was in and allowed some retreat at a place where, you know, he's on a beach kicking up his feet and getting to get some peace of mind to what just happened in his life. He was thrown into a barrage of cameras and people coming into his life that he didn't even know, pretty much to help express their pain to overshadow his own. And when we talk about our young men that don't have a male influence in their life, it's very difficult. I mean, we expect men to be men. We expect all of our men to be strong men. But even the strong men, it's difficult for us to stay strong. We have our moments where we may feel weakened and have to triumph, and still may feel treaded upon, but also at the same time having to stand up straight and continue moving forward. And that is difficult for any person, male or female, or whatever the case may be. Any person that's fighting to do better for themselves in their own lives and having to deal with corruption and being stolen from and being under threat of violence, it's very difficult to find your way in life. And not many of us are able to escape that type of environment. And it's unfortunate that, again, we expect men that are growing up in that environment to behave differently. So for someone to have gone through such a tragic situation and be drugged into jail over, again, an expression of those feelings, opposed to them being respected or protected like our state officials need to be trained to do, then we have a failure in our system, and we definitely need to do something to change that. That is what I'm hoping to do. I was actually doing my best to mentor the young man. We had met a few weeks ago at an event, and we spoke, and we even had our own exchange, and he lashed out at me and my wife, and he hurt us. But we understand his pain, and me as a man, I understand where he's coming from. And I see that happen in our community, where we give up on each other the minute something happens where we may disagree with what they're doing. And instead of giving up on each other, we need to stand up for each other. We need to fight for each other. We need to let each other know that we're going to be loved unconditionally despite those issues. It's saddening that as a community, we tend to turn our backs on those in need the most and expect them to do better of themselves, expect them to do better for their community. But it's difficult when they're not provided a proper example that can do even that. So it's very angering to me to know that the mayor, the DA, the city attorney, all of these state officials, the governor has failed this young man, and they will continue to fail. The officers, they have been put back on the job. They have not been fired. And I wanted to visit Stevante in jail, and I was told that they're only allowing 2 visits per week for inmates. 2 visits per week. That's insane. I mean, why aren't they allowed, any visitor for that matter, allowed to have unlimited visits? They should be given the opportunity to interact with those people that they need the most in order to keep some bit of stability in their life when it's taken away. And I really feel like it would be very important for our state officials to spend the night in jail, see what it's actually like. We have city officials that prosecute supposed criminals and put them in a place where they've never been themselves. I think it would definitely help them see where they're sending these people. And if they want to be true humanitarians to help those in need, then they definitely would respond differently. So I'm here at the California Highway Patrol. There's the sign over there, Department of the California Highway Patrol. That was just my timer. I forgot to turn off my ringer. But anyways, when we talk about the level of responsibility, the California Highway Patrol, the county sheriff's department, they all have more authority than our local police department. So when we talk about policing the police, we're hoping that these people actually do their job and enforce the true law against those lawbreakers. And even if they are wearing a badge, they need to be arrested also. They need to be held accountable. They need to be held to the same standards that we the people are held to. So if we want to start standing up for our individual rights and our rights as a community as a whole, then we definitely need to make sure that the people that we employ, we got friends, we need to make sure that the people that we employ do their job, okay? Because that's what matters the most. They need to be upholding the United States Constitution. Hey. All right, so we do have a visitor.
Here we go.
And we're going to see how this First Amendment audit goes.
Right.
Hello, how you doing?
How are you doing?
Very well, how are you?
Good. What's going on today?
My name is Nicholas Wildstar. I'm the Libertarian candidate running for governor.
Okay.
As you can see.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you. And you are?
Officer Sells.
Officer Sells,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Nice to meet you.
All right, and you're with the California Highway Patrol.
Yes,
Great,
sir.
all right. This is the cameraman.
Okay.
And he's a First Amendment auditor. We're here doing the First Amendment audit of the California Highway Patrol facility, which we are free to do.
Yes, sir. You are.
All right.
Just curious what was going on.
Oh, no.
Taking pictures and
Yeah,
It's kind
absolutely.
of obvious, I mean.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But are we committing a crime or anything?
no, sir. No
Are
crime
we
at
causing a disturbance?
all. No. No
So
disturbance at all.
since it's not illegal to videotape or record, then what would be the issue of you even coming out right now? Because I would think you would be stopping criminals. That's what we the taxpayers pay you for, is to stop criminals.
Well, we're paid to investigate potential crimes, yes, and to ask questions and talk to people and make contacts. And
But if the current governor passed a law protecting our right as individuals, as citizens, as people of the community to lawfully record, then this wouldn't be a need for an investigation at all.
Central 30, I'm code 4, and I got 2 units from headquarters with me.
Oh, and we got more on the scene. How you guys doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we?
How you doing?
Super.
All right, great. I'm visiting from Orange County. My name is Nicholas Wildstar. I'm the Libertarian candidate running for governor.
Orange County, California?
Yeah, Orange
You
County.
may have seen
I'm
my
up
video
here.
about the Westminster Division. It's pretty popular.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're up here just doing the First Amendment audit of the Sacramento California Highway Patrol Department, as well as, you know, visiting the people of the state. I'm actually going down to the Asparagus Festival in Stockton, yeah. So just making some rounds. I just decided to stop by and make sure you guys would.
Officer Elliot Davis.
All right, pleasure to meet you, Elliot. I have cards. If I could give you one?
No, here's
I
the
don't want to
situation.
reach for anything
No,
and,
no,
it
yeah,
leads to anything.
You didn't do anything is wrong, but let me ask you this. If somebody was out front taking pictures of your home, would you want to know why they were taking pictures of your home?
Sure, but
Okay,
that's a private residence.
Okay, you are very true, but this is our home, and we like to protect it. And
I thought you said we were code 4.
we are
Oh,
code
wow.
We got more units responding.
We're just, we just want to know what's going on. So people taking pictures of a police station is not cause for alarm itself, but depending on who you were and what you were doing, we don't know. And so we just came to say hello, see what's going on. You're not committing any crime. You're free to take pictures. So that's it.
All right.
So
I would think it confusing to think that somebody taking pictures or videotaping any facility would be suspect. Even if it was my own home, it's a private home. But you guys are public servants.
yes, sir.
So this is really a public facility.
Yes, sir. That we
So-
are paid to protect as well.
Exactly.
Right.
So you're paid to protect the facility, but again, us as private citizens, because we are now the private citizen, and we do have the First Amendment right to the freedom of speech. And the governor went even further beyond that to pass this new law that says we also have the right to constitutionally record or lawfully record.
Yes, sir.
So if you're upholding our rights, those laws, those same rights and laws, then you would be protecting us, and we wouldn't be seen as criminals for this activity.
But we don't know who you are, and so we
Well, you don't need to know who we are.
Right. Why would that even
Okay, let me
be
put a
necessary?
hypothetical. What if you were a couple of guys that were trying to look at our infrastructure to see how to break in or how to threaten our lives? What if you were?
No. I
I'm
would
just
think
saying, we don't know that.
I would think any professional that would want to do that, because that's what it would take to do that, right? You guys are heavily
And
armed.
I'll be honest
So if
with
they
you-
ever wanted to come in there, they would have to do intrinsic study, extensive study, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be doing it in the daylight. They would be doing it behind closed doors and would have all the best technology in the world to do that.
Well, we can what if this to death, and we can sit here and discuss every possible scenario, but you're here, you're taking photos of our secure facility, just like any secure facility in the world. People would want to know why, especially us, when it's our home.
I think it's
So-
over-policing.
Well, actually, it's all of our home.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
And were I to be elected governor, you guys wouldn't be wasting your time having to do this. You wouldn't be called on the scene. There's 4 of you out here right now. There's 2 squad cars. How much money is being spent right now
I mean, we got-
in taxpayers'
Of all
money
of
on
these
you doing
salaries
this?
here collectively, I mean, honestly, we got at least $80,000 minimum standing around here.
Meanwhile, there are true suspects out there that you should be looking for
Okay,
that are
hold on just a second.
scoping
Hold on a
properties
second.
to rob them and would
hold
be
on.
threatening.
It's not fair for you to sit here and tell us how to do our job.
That is true.
And I don't sit there and tell you how to do your job. You're free to go anytime you want. I came out to contact you to see who you were. You can obviously see by the presence that this is an important place to us.
Right.
We want to know who's filming. I didn't tell you.
They
how to
could have
stop
came
filming.
out. You drove up. He drove up. They just walked out. So
And you've parked in a tactical position.
Well, everything we do is tactically minded, considering in our job.
Well, as a private citizen, and when you pull up on somebody, anybody really, and park like that, it seems to me you have some sort of intentions. It's not, some casual parking. Hi, how are you doing, sir? You're just immediately,
Well, all of us, like you, have every intention of going home safely. And since we're all being fair with each other, you don't understand what we do. You don't understand why we do things. You haven't had the training that we've had. It's not fair for you to criticize what we do and why we do it.
Well, what crime do you think is being suspected of being committed here? I mean, it seems to me you're pulling up on, like, you're investigating a potential crime here.
Potential crime, everything's a potential crime.
Everything.
Well, this has already been determined to be a constitutionally protected First Amendment act. So there is no crime here to investigate.
Well, if that's what you think, then don't call us if someone's loitering about your house suspiciously.
Yeah,
And
because I can't do anything about it. and
yeah, if
neither
somebody
then
was
you- and neither
loitering
can
my
you.
house suspiciously,
It's not
I
against
actually
the
would
law
take it
to
upon
walk around
myself
on the public
to
streets.
go out there and find out why. Because that's what people of the community do, is you should go out there and protect yourself first. You are the ones that are the first responders.
And-
you guys are next on the scene.
Gentlemen,
So
you both seem like very well-educated men. all right? And in today's current environment, with the feeling against police and everything else going on in the world, you have to understand why we would be here to protect our home.
Why do you think people feel the way that they do against police?
Sir, that's not for me.
I'm just saying, person to person.
But I'm not here to give you my I'm not here to give you my personal opinion on why I think there's relationships or bad relationships between the public and police.
Okay.
I'm here because somebody called you in. Somebody, not us, some citizen said that you two look suspicious. We got here, or somebody like you two look suspicious. We came out here. We saw you filming our home. It's a sensitive area because it is a law enforcement facility, and so we came out to see what was going on. We've not detained you. I have not asked for your identification. I haven't said that you're committing any
Well,
crime.
I introduced myself. You didn't have to ask
And I
for
shook your
any
hand.
identification.
And I shook your hand.
And I
right?
appreciate that.
But you're now questioning us why we're here without the knowledge and the experience that we have and why we're parking.
No, I'm
the way
just
we
asking
do.
you brought up the public's perception of police being partially one of the reasons why you guys would respond as such. And I'm saying, as a potential governor, I would like to understand. Because I see it from our perspective. I would like to see it more from yours. Because if anything, I see it as you guys having way too many responsibilities, this being one of them, to where this is the response. Had you basically stood up for the Constitution, which is our constitutional right to film and record, and the law on the books, which is we do also have the right to record, then you wouldn't have to respond as such.
I am standing up for your rights. I haven't even violated any of your rights.
Yeah, but I'm saying you wouldn't have
even
to.
gotten to this point.
Right,
Whoever
exactly.
called in,
That's
the
all I'm
dispatcher
saying.
Should have asked, well, are they trying to break into
Break in
something?
or
Are they
anything?
trying
Yeah,
to
exactly.
hop over the
That's
fence?
the-
What if
that's
what
the
if that-
part of a
what if that was
crime.
the next step?
Well, then
We
you
don't know.
Then that's where.
Then you don't
look
know.
at where you
Then
guys
need
are.
to
We have to
maybe-
come and investigate.
You could have just stood right there and watched us and deter.
Well, I'm not going to stand back there and wait for you to break in and then do something about
But
it.
your presence alone would have
You
definitely
can't
did
prior
that.
restrain somebody. You
Am
can't
I restraining you?
No, but you can't stop somebody and micromanage them because you're worried that they might break in.
I'm not doing anything.
I
And
mean,
you actually
I
you
told
did
already-
stop us because we had to stop to speak to you.
Well,
Had
this
we-
is consensual contact.
right,
I'm
but
just-
had we
because I'm
kept
trying to
walking,
understand the
then
mentalities
what would have
here.
been the instance?
Where are we going with this?
I'm just asking you. Again, we're having a
This is our
conversation.
home, and if somebody called us to that apartment building over there, said there's two suspicious people out there filming, we would respond in the same way, and those are private residences.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But this is not. This is public.
We got a phone call, sir.
If I was doing this at a library, would this be your same response?
If two people called, or we got a call.
If I was
from our
doing
dispatch-
this at the DMV?
Let him answer your question.
Oh, pardon me. Go
Let
ahead.
him answer.
If someone called our dispatch and said there's two suspicious people outside of such and such building, whether it's a private residence, a library, a police facility, it is our duty to respond. We don't get to dictate, or we don't get to question our dispatch and say, no, I don't want to go to this one, but I'll go to this one.
Yes, you do. You have discretion.
No, we do
because
not.
you should know better to tell dispatch and say, I'm not going to go
Sir.
to us because somebody's filming.
So
that's not a crime. That's
Sir,
not a
you're
crime.
way
It's
too
a First
educated.
Amendment.
You're way
It's
too
a-
educated to make that comment.
It's
And you should be as
If somebody
educated
calls
to make
911,
that call.
if somebody calls 911 and says there's something happening at XYZ, and I'm like, nah, that's probably just this or that.
well, there's
I
got to
can't
be
do
more
that.
than XYZ because somebody doesn't call just there's something happening. Get over there. They just say somebody's shooting,
Sir,
somebody's filming,
this
somebody's
conversation's taking a
trespassing.
dive because now we're not
Well,
talking.
look,
logically.
I understand that your
It sounds
brain
logical
is
to me.
toxic and we can't reason here with First Amendment protected activity. So let's just end this consensual contact. I'm sure you have more important things to do, and I know
Actually,
we
I'm gonna
have
park
more.
Oh, yes,
right there.
absolutely. I actually got to go. But I appreciate you guys again taking the time to
So,
speak with
have a
us.
good
Well,
day.
sir, good luck to you.
And thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys, you keep doing a great job. We do appreciate you responding, being those first responders. But we'll change that once I get into office because it's a waste of time. All of that for nothing. And it's a waste of our money, of our tax dollars. Hold on, I got the cameraman talking to me. What's up?
As a candidate, do you think there needs to be? I know arbitrary law isn't. It's just arbitrary because the First Amendment allows us to do this. But do you think Jerry Brown's arbitrary SB 411 made a difference here in actually educating these officers?
Not at all. If anything, it was just a waste of time, a waste of taxpayers' money on them actually pushing such legislation, instead of just making sure that the governor did his job and make sure that state officials such as these were just upholding the Constitution. It's that simple. It's that simple. And if you aren't capable of doing such, you're fired. It needs to be that way, because it was a waste of money, and like you said, it was an arbitrary law.
I'm not sure if it's such a waste of money, because there are officers out there that understand that.
Exactly.
They do realize that.
Right.
But some officers don't, and that's what I'm not understanding, especially from the Highway Patrol, the state. Some city officers know more about Senate Bill 411 than actual state officers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So what is up with that?
Well, again, if I was elected, my job would be to uphold the United States Constitution. So I'd have to listen to what you're telling me. And as a person of the state, as a private citizen, as we the people, and me now being your employee, I would be beholden to uphold your interests, which is to make sure that every person that you come in contact with that is an official of the state, make sure that they are doing the same job I was hired to do, which is uphold the Constitution. So it's crazy that an additional law was added as an extra layering to prevent such interactions from happening, and it's still not being effective. And that's where I'm saying it was a waste of time, it was a waste of money, it was a waste of energy, and it did nothing to protect us anymore. Are you feeling protected right now?
I have another question. Now, do you think, well, he didn't understand it, but did you understand what I meant when I'm talking about discretion for actual crimes and
Absolutely.
frivolous things?
Yes, indeed. And that's what
Because anybody can call and say, oh, there's somebody filming.
Exactly.
Okay? But that's not, just filming in itself is
Oh,
not
trust
a
me,
crime.
I'm a black man. I get called for suspicious behavior all the time.
Now,
You're
if
wasting
say,
your time,
okay,
people,
that person's
calling the
filming,
cops
but
just
they're
based
also,
on...
committing, they're disturbing the peace or something.
Exactly.
With something followed up to that.
Right.
But just saying somebody's filming, that's a crime, and that's what I mean. The cops should say, look, dispatch, I need more information on just somebody's filming.
And that's what he said. He said if somebody was to come up to your home, would you want them videotaping? I'm like, well, I don't care really, but if I seen it as being concerning, I would go out there myself and say, hey, how you doing? Why are you videotaping my home? Can we talk about this? And now if they have any issue saying that, hey, we're just out here surveying the land or whatever the case may be, now I'm taking control of the situation. Instead of calling somebody who should be taking care of crimes only, okay? You got to be the ones that respond first, and don't wait on these guys, because if anything that we should have learned from the Stephon Clark situation is a call on someone can lead to their death. It has, and it will continue to, as long as this continues to be the response of our state officials. All right? Nicholas Wildstar, Libertarian candidate for governor. Guess what, y'all? I got the Green to Go connection right now. Who is that? Yeah!
Let's go Wildstar!
I got Chris Carlson, Green Party candidate with me. We about to kick it and go to the Asparagus Festival in Stockton. We'll see you there, all right? Till then, much love and peace, and long live liberty, y'all.